Well, thankfully all the salt is covered. I'm finished with work for the rest of the week. I guess I can just go ahead and... So help me God, if it's Harmon Smith, I'm putting him in a 2-2. Reforge? Can't be Dreamcast guy because I'm saving that for Sunday. Is it MBG? No, it can't be MGB. Is it the ponies on Twitter? Oh, of course, that's the ponies on Twitter, of course. So why are they exactly losing their minds? So help me God if this is true.
Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, I'm a...
You know, originally this video was going to be a complete and utter different thing. Like, it was going to be a news thing, and I would give my piece about how I felt about, Sony acquiring, the developers of Dark Souls and Elden Ring, aka Fromsoftware. And trust me, I'm not in the mood for that stuff. Yeah, no, hell no. But the big hell or no out of this situation is the fact that they're trying to get their grubby little hands on Katakoa. I'm pretty sure I slaughtered that name, but who knows really in that situation. Now, you may think to yourself, why is such a bad idea for Sony to get a hold of Katakoa, Gara? What's up, man? Why are you acting a little frantic in this situation? They're going to monopolize the anime industry. Yeah, you heard me right. Everything that you love about anime, from the shows, from the studios, the live actions, the mangas, they're going to capitalize on it, and they're going to monopolize the whole industry. Meaning everything that comes to the Western audiences over here will be from Sony and will be either like red lighted or green lighted from Sony, which is an extremely bad thing. You don't want those type of monopolizations because, I mean, look at Disney. Like, oh God, that quality control over there is just absolutely terrible. You don't want any of that. And well, what do you think the PlayStation fanboys are thinking to themselves right now? Oh, they don't think this is a monopolization at all, because they think that if Microsoft did it, Sony is more than welcome to go ahead and do it themselves. It's just like, these fanboys, I swear with you guys, they have no brain cells to process this, like even the definition of what a monopolization is. And let me tell you something, it's going to get really ugly if it happens. So besides all that ranting and raving about, Sony acquiring Katakoa and how it's going to affect the anime industry, we're going to go ahead and cover the PlayStation fanboys and how much of a hypocrites they are in this situation. So please make sure you go grab yourself a nice little drink and a nice little snack, and we're just going to go ahead and dive right into the content.
Seeing PC gamers lose access to Fromsoftware games and the entire Souls franchise will honestly be the greatest thing that ever happened in gaming. I don't know why any of these fake fans on the PC ever thought they were welcome in the Souls community. GTFO.
Show me your achievements. I want to see your achievements. I want to see how far you got far in Dark Souls. I want to see how far you got in Elden Ring. I want to see how far you got in Bloodborne. Let's see how far you've actually gone in Sekiro. Let's see if you even completed one of those games at all, because I really doubt that you have, because I know you pretty well, because you're like what we like to call in the community a casual, a tourist. You are nothing but a fake fan that's trying to say, how do you do, my fellow Dark Souls enthusiast? You are nothing but a fucking weeb in Japan pretending to be Japanese. That's all you are. You are fake as hell. Get the fuck out of Japan and get the fuck out of my community, you fucking fraud.
I just want to say this: if you were okay with MS buying ABK, you should be okay with Sony buying Kadokawa, but now you worried third-party devs getting bought out. Weird timing. Hashtag Fromsoftware, #Sony, #Microsoft, #ABK.
You got me, partner.
PlayStation gamer, I was not really expecting you to become part of my content. That is a Interesting turn of events I was not expecting really at all. But here's the difference between the ABK and Fromsoftware being bought up by the two companies. You want to know the difference? Activision was already a lost cause, okay? Activision has already given into the greed and decided to rip off its consumer base. So you know what? It's fine if Microsoft wants to absorb them and stuff. It's not going to turn into a monopoly or anything. There are plenty of like entry shooters that could come in and easily penetrate the market. No problem at all. Versus Sony buying Katakoa? If, and I do mean if, Sony gets their hands on Katakoa, not only will it be a bad matchup with Fromsoftware with Sony, because Sony's heavily into the cinematic universe with heavy cutscenes and all that type of stuff. Fromsoftware is not into developing games like that, especially like Sony right now is doing gas fucking practices, you know, live services with their games. Yeah, just picture that for a second, how well it's going to go over with the Souls community when you put a battle pass in the next Elden Ring or the next Bloodborne. I doubt there's going to be a next Bloodborne knowing Sony, but my point still stands. Sony and Fromsoftware do not mix because they have different practices on how they develop video games. And on top of that too, if they get a hold of Katakoa, which I'm going to bring this back to the main point, if they get a hold of them, they're going to have a monopoly over the Western animes, which is one big thing that you and the PlayStation fanboys were fighting against in the first place. But now you guys are okay with that? Like, that seems a little bit hypocritical from my point of view in that situation. If Microsoft was going to cannibalize the shooter market with Call of Duty, then I would say, yeah, you know, it's going to be a monopoly. This would be a bad idea to allow it. It's not just the video game industry that's going to be affected. It's going to be the anime industry that's going to be affected too.
It's funny seeing people are against Sony for wanting to acquire Kadokawa, but I remember when Microsoft was cheered on to acquire ABK, what happened to acquisitions is part of the business. Alright, that's only when it's Microsoft wanting to acquire something.
What a lame-ass little speech. That shit was just stupid.
I swear to God, our school system has absolutely failed us because they can't even tell the difference between why it was okay for Microsoft to acquire ABK versus Sony allowing them to have Katakoa in this situation. They don't understand it at all. They don't understand that Sony's going to have a tight grip on the anime industry. You do realize that we're going to lose a lot more than just a good developer from us. We're going to lose an we're going to lose the anime industry to fucking Sony over here. Do you understand? Like, you guys were so against the idea of Microsoft, you know, cannibalizing and monopolizing the fucking, you know, video game industry. But now since it's like clearly on Sony's fucking terms over here, you guys are like, I'm okay with it. No, the Xbox are just hypocrites and stuff. The PC player have no idea what the hell they're talking about either. But yet again, here we are proving you guys the absolute difference between a monopolization and an acquisition. The difference is that they're just acquiring Activision that has a big stake in the shooter genre. It's not like some random studio can't come out of absolutely nowhere and bank on the shooter franchises. You guys are acting like they can't do that at all because Microsoft acquired Activision. Are you fucking kidding me? Did we forget about certain games that penetrated this fucking year? Like, did we just forget about games like X Defiant that was released by Ubisoft and it absolutely banged in the market perfectly fine, but Ubisoft, like, just legitimately did not put that effort in to keep the game, you know, going for everybody, you know, actually making monetization easy enough for people to get into or earn rewards so they could buy stuff in the store? No. Ubisoft just let that game out the posture and freaking die. But I'll say this once again, like I said in the previous section, Activision and Microsoft was a good mix together because they have a whole studios behind them with like shooters, many IP franchises that just work with Microsoft. It just clicks with them. But with PlayStation and Fromsoftware, they don't work at all because Fromsoftware is not a heavy cutscene type of, you know, developed studio. They love making like really good storytelling, like through dialogue and like pickups that you can learn about the world through the fucking gameplay. Fucking PlayStation over here, let me show you the cutscene, let me help you figure out these puzzles, let me have Asterion scream at you how to do the puzzle for the millionth freaking time in a row, even though you're trying to figure it out perfectly fine by yourself. Like, they just, like, don't click together, because PlayStation caters to the casual audience, okay? Let's be honest here for a second. They cater to the casuals these days. Versus Fromsoftware over here, they don't cater to the casuals, okay? They don't hold your hand like PlayStation likes to do these days. And there are some series that PlayStation Studios have released under PlayStation's watch that I believe that they have ruined. So that's why a lot of people are worried about if PlayStation buys Katakoa and they dig their greasy little hands of Fromsoftware, we're going to lose what we love. We're going to lose it because PlayStation wants to be, well, PlayStation in this situation.
I said like 5 or more times during my last podcast episode that Sony should do whatever they have to do in order to acquire Fromsoftware. Considering they have a close partnership and how Sony cares about review scores and prestige, I stand by what I said.
No. No.
If they supposedly had a close relationship with Fromsoftware, don't you think for a goddamn minute they would allow those people to do a Bloodborne remake and release it on the PS5 60 frames and then release it on the PC 60 frames and all that deliciousness of Bloodborne that people have been asking for years upon years for PlayStation to do, but they absolutely refuse to do anything with it? Oh, and if PlayStation cared about its prestige so damn much, why did we get games like Concord? Why did we get games like Forspoken? Why in God's name did we even get games like The Last of Us 2 that absolutely disrespected the characters? I will never understand that. I really never will, MBG.
I'm not a fan of acquisitions like what we might see with Katakawa, where they will then own a bunch of anime and can control who has access to that. I don't want Sony to become like the Disney of anime. I don't think that's good for the consumer.
Who are you and what version of Reforge gaming are you? Oh my god, I'm actually going to agree with him during the video. I can't believe I'm actually going to do it. Oh wait, never mind. We all know there's a wind-up.
Now, in the realm of games, a Sony acquisition is not the same as a Microsoft acquisition.
Yep, there it is. There's the old Reforge that we all know and love very, very much.
And this is going to be really, really hard for the Bleed Green guys to understand. Because what they're going to do is they're going to hear me say that and be like, yep, Sony pony. You got to track with me. As a gamer, an acquisition by Microsoft is not the same as an acquisition for Sony. And let me try to explain why before blood squirts out your nose and you screech and mold and call me a pony.
Oh boy, can't wait to be enlightened by Reforge to explain to us how these two companies are absolutely different, even though both of them have laid off companies, both of them have made series even worse under their own umbrellas, according to the fanboys in that situation. And, you know, it's not like their end game is just to make money at the end of the day. That's all they're here for.
When Microsoft acquires a studio, every single one of those studios now has to make a game for PC, Series S, Xbox Series X, and potentially PS5, PS5 Pro enhancements, and maybe where applicable the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm not a fan of that. I don't think that's good for that developer.
Anybody want to tell them that freaking PlayStation is literally doing the same shit that Microsoft is doing? Like, seriously, you don't see the resemblance that literally that PlayStation is copying the same shit that Microsoft is doing right fucking now, but you aren't even paying attention to it at all, Reforge. And I cannot wait for the day to where they port over a PlayStation game over to Xbox, because that'll be the day I see you ponies lose your fucking mind.
And they also have to operate under the Microsoft 18-month contract policy that was detrimental to the production of Halo Infinite.
And yet, I agree with you on that, Reforge. It was a stupid decision for Microsoft to even do that with Halo Infinite. But you know what the funny thing is, Reforge, that you're not paying attention to? The same thing that PlayStation's doing, the same thing as Microsoft. But you don't even notice it yet.
So a Microsoft acquisition of a game company is not the same as a Sony acquisition of a gaming company. Because when Sony acquires a company, they're going to say, make the game for the PS5.
So what you're telling me is that you're okay with it being going to PlayStation because it's going to be exclusively focused on PlayStation. You do understand why we call you a PlayStation fanboy, right? Because you're only worried about PlayStation. That's it. Not what everybody else would like to play that game on different platforms and enjoy themselves. Do you understand why we call you a PlayStation fanboy? This is the exact reason why.
And then tap into the PS5 Pro's power or enhancements, which the developers have shown is quite easy to do. That's not disruptive to creative process. That's not disruptive to the product. PlayStation first-party studios continue to bring, I think, high-quality games to the market, and then they have a porting company to bring them to PC later, and the consumer gets a high-quality product.
You serious?
The PlayStation 5 Pro is barely an upgrade. If you look at its specs right there, there's barely a noticeable upgrade. So it's not going to be hard for them to fucking design it for the PlayStation 5 Pro. It's not that fucking hard to do, especially when the AI scaling is doing the majority of the fucking job there. And PC, come on, Reforge. Where do you think they developed their fucking video games? On the PlayStation 5? Really?
Sony purchasing a game company is not the same as when Xbox purchases a game company. They're different companies with different philosophies, and the devs, I think, flourish better under Sony ownership.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Hey, Reforge, there's certain two developers under Sony's branch right now that aren't doing very well, named Bungie and the developers of Concord. Yeah, about that. They're not doing too hot. And Sony over here, oh wait, that's right. Sony canned one of these developers. Remember that one? And fam, that's all the content I got you guys for today. And I know. Boo, Gar, you probably got more salt for us. But yeah, some of them are extremely repetitive. And I just kind of sat there and thought to myself, yeah, no, I'm not going to repeat it because it'd just be absolutely boring if I just threw up repetitive content in front of you guys. You'd probably just sit there just bored out of your absolute minds. But you know what though, fam? Sorry, I got to cut it a little short, but I got to get going because, today I leveled up. And if you catch my drift, well, I'll see you guys later for today for Community Day. Yeah, we're going to have a Community Day where I'm going to celebrate with you guys today, play a couple video games for a couple hours, and just enjoy ourselves as a community. Usually I rarely get to do these type of things with you guys, and I really want to do it with you guys. I want to share some time with you guys and just hang out with you guys on a fantastic Saturday. And trust me, Sundays are still here. Sundays aren't going. Salty Sundays are still staying. And we get really spicy on Salty Sundays. But like I always say, thank you guys very much for watching. I truly do appreciate it. If you guys appreciate this type of content, please leave a like and comment in the comment section. Always a pleasure to talk to you guys every single time, I swear. And hey, you want more of my type of content, subscribe to the channel. I'll definitely have more coming for you guys. And hey, pretty close to 10K right there, about 2,000 off. If you want to help us get to 10K, subscribe to the channel. And like I said, I'll have more content coming for you guys. Little fair trade off right there. But anyway, thank you guys very much for watching, like I always say, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Maybe Sunday, maybe Saturday, who knows? Oh wait, today's Saturday. Today's my birthday. See you in the next one, fam. Later.